Hey everyone, welcome back to the Pokemon Casino. We've got another price check coming up today, and you know what that means. It's Friday and the weekend is right around the corner, so hopefully you guys have some amazing plans, and if not, just taking it easy, ripping over a few packs and stuff. Hope you have really good luck and RNG. But let's get at it. Let's look at this week's price check. We're looking at a very interesting set. It is the exclusive Japanese Pokemon MUNCH set. As you can see, we got a few of the very popular characters on the screen right now. Just a little hint at what it is. But you're asking, what is MUNCH? What is this? It's basically based on an art piece, artwork that is extremely famous called The Scream. So this is by Edvard Munch, a Norwegian. He painted this in 1893. It's probably one of the most iconic images of art out there. There was an exhibit in Japan for Edvard Munch's artwork a couple of years back. It basically showed and displayed pieces that he made throughout his career. At the Japanese exhibit, there was over 100 pieces of his artwork, including 60 oil paintings, and it was the first time it was ever in Japan, which is why it was sort of a big deal, given The Scream is so popular. I remember seeing this little art piece when I was younger in Toronto, when I lived there, and I still remember it to this day, actually. So to give you sort of a hint on what these cards look like, and you can compare it to that artwork that you just saw there, if not, rewind back. There were 5 special promo cards offered as part of this exhibit. So you can see this exhibit was from October 27th, 2018 to January 20th, 2019. So a good, I guess you can say, 3 months or so that this exhibit was available a couple of years back. And on offer were some of the more popular characters. You got Psyduck, you got Eevee, you got Pikachu, Mimikyu, and Rowlett. So these 5 promo cards that you can see. And what is really cool about these cards is that there's actually a sequence to them. So if you look at the left side where Psyduck, in the back, he has some ghosts behind him like Ghastly or Haunter, as you can see, right? But then if you move over to Eevee, more across the bridge, you can see on the left side of Eevee, by Eevee's tail, there's Psyduck's shadow there. And if you go with Pikachu, you can see Eevee in the background. With Mimikyu, you can see Pikachu in the background. And Rowlett, you see Mimikyu in the background. So a very cool set and sequence to have. Hey guys, the editor here. I'm going through the video that I just made, and I forgot to mention a very cute detail actually. So all 5 cards have the same attack. Obviously, these are Pokemon trading cards, right? So used for the trading card game. And so they each have an attack, and if you translate to English, it's actually called Scream. So all of these 5 Pokemon have an attack called Scream, and what it does, it confuses both Pokemon, so both yours and the opponent's. So I thought that was a very cute detail that I wanted to add and let you guys know about. Full disclosure, I do have these cards. I have 3 of them in PSA 10s. I'm not trying to hype these up, but I've seen sort of a lot of interest with it in these cards in this set by the Hong Kong community, so I assume that sort of globally it was sort of taking off as well. And so why don't we dive into more of how this exhibit looked like in Japan, so you can see some other Edvard Munch's artwork. Starry Night, not to be confused with Van Gogh, with his Starry Night or Dreamy Night. And you see Dance of Life, so more oil paintings from Munch that was on display in Japan. And so these Pokemon cards, if we're getting back to them, had different ways of collecting them. There were also other items available at the exhibit. One of these was this really cute Pikachu plush toy. If you went to the exhibit, you had the opportunity to buy it for 1,400 yen or US $10. And recent eBay listings and transactions, this thing has gone up 20 times for $200 in recent sales. So it's a very exclusive plush, I would say. Probably not me because I'm not a plush collector, more of a Pokemon card collector, but very cool plushie, I gotta say here. And going back to the cards, to one of the first ones here. So we got a fan favorite, Psyduck. And how can you get this Psyduck at the MUNCH retrospective exhibit? You just had to buy 2 packs of Pokemon cards at the gift shop or at the Pokemon Center. And then if you bought that, you paid Japanese yen 470 or the equivalent around $4 US, and you got this promo card back in 2018, 2019 when the exhibit was on. At this time, recent transactions on eBay have been going for $80 to $100 for just the raw card. And if you see, if you got it graded and it was in good condition, that went up really fast. So PSA 10s are trading right now, or selling at $600 to $900, which is crazy. And PSA 9s sell at a pretty big discount actually to the PSA 10s. So they're selling for around $200 right now. And if you look at the pop report, you can sort of tell why. I've sort of circled off the red PSA 9 and 10. So we have almost 2,000 PSA 9 in the pop report and only 800 as PSA 10s, with 3,000 overall having been graded. So you can see why there's definitely a lot more 9s, which sort of depresses the price. And PSA 10s, definitely, I guess you can say, expensive. $600 to $900. Imagine if you bought this card for $4 back in the day. PSA grading was cheap as well. This is multiple times to be able to add this to your collection, which is pretty crazy. I was reading on Reddit from some posts back then, and people were saying that they got the entire collection, so like all 5 cards for 100, 150 US only. So wow, what a steal back then for people that had that. So that just shows you the power of exclusive Japanese Pokemon cards. But as things get crazier, let's look at some more cards. But if you're enjoying this content, remember to click like and click subscribe as we go on for more price checks every week and do some more openings of cards. But next up, after Psyduck, we got Eevee. Also a fan favorite, if not one of the top Pokemon that people love. Again, this was the same way that you could collect the Psyduck card, buy 2 Pokemon booster packs, pay another $4 US, and you got this Eevee card. Right now, it's actually trading the raw card at around the same price as the Psyduck, $80 to $100. But the PSA 10 is actually selling for a lot cheaper, $400 to $500 versus the Psyduck at $600 to $900 here. And you can see why in the pop report. 1,300 PSA 10s in existence, almost half of the graded cards available by PSA. PSA 9 copies going for $200 to $250, not as big of a discount as Psyduck because there's also quite a few there, but I guess since it's almost balanced with the PSA 10 copies, the population sort of even out. So you can see the impact of how some of the population of the cards, of the graded cards, impact its pricing right now. Eevee is not a PSA 10 copy I have, so I have been looking out for this one to see when I can pick it up. The prices have only been going up since I picked up mine. I got sort of a sequential order of Psyduck, Eevee, Pikachu, and Rowlett. Pikachu and Rowlett were PSA 10s. I picked up a separate Mimikyu afterwards separately. That was a PSA 10. That was pretty expensive, but we'll get into that one later. But this is Eevee, sort of the second card as part of the MUNCH collection. And afterwards, we got Rowlett. So not as big of a favorite, but we got Rowlett here, and it sort of goes at the end of the sequence because Mimikyu is sort of behind him. And it's in the promotion number, it's 290, and the ones that were available are before that one. But this was also the same thing. So the first 3 cards, you could get it at the Pokemon Center. After buying 2 booster packs, you pay another $4, you get this card. But this one's selling at a pretty significant discount to the others. The raw card is only $40 to $70. So Rowlett fans, definitely good for you to pick this up. The PSA 10 copy is only around $200. And the PSA 9, $100. So only a $100 difference between there. It is double, but then you can also see in the pop report, there's almost 2,000 PSA 10 copies of this card available, which obviously pushes down this price, and because it's not as popular, let's be honest, as Eevee. So the price reflects that as well. So there you are, PSA 10 copies of the first 3, around $200 to $900, and I think that's really impacted by the population reports. If you don't care about it being graded, you can definitely pick up a raw card for good discount, put in your binder, put in a magnetic holder, put on display, it would still look great, I think. So next one up, we got, of course, you gotta go for the Pikachu. And this is the male Pikachu, so Pika the man. Pikachu was an interesting one. It wasn't one where you actually bought it by booster packs. From what I understand and from speaking to some collectors in Hong Kong that were in Japan at this time, it was actually, so you bought a ticket to go into the exhibit and people were handing this card out. So people working there were handing this card out to people at the exhibit, unprotected, no sort of sleeves, no sort of protectors, nothing. So, which is why this one was a bit harder to get in any good condition. And that's reflected sort of in the pop report as well, I would think. As you can see, this raw card is $500 to $600. And that just shows you how much harder it was to sort of get this. I guess you had to be sort of quote unquote lucky to be able to get it and in good condition. So the raw card is still very much in demand. And with a raw card at $500 to $600, you're looking, yep, PSA 10 copies in the $1,000 range. So PSA 10s have been trading or transacting at $1,600 to $1,900. PSA 9 copies still probably look fantastic, to be honest, at $700 to $900. So if you want this part of your collection graded, PSA 9s I think is also a really good choice for you at this time. And if you look at the pop report here, 1,800 PSA 10s. So the bulk of the graded cards for Pikachu have been sent to grade. And I guess this is because people have been a lot more selective on how they want to grade it because it's sort of harder to keep in good condition. So if you basically went to this exhibit and you wanted it graded, you're probably one of those collectors that came with your own sleeve, your own top loader to put that into once you got that handed out to you. PSA 9s, not as many copies either, $375. But obviously everyone wants the perfect gem mint copy of Pikachu. And so we're coming up to the last card, which is, you guessed it, the most expensive one. And it's not Pikachu. I know some of you guys might have guessed Pikachu, but it is Mimikyu. And so Mimikyu is, ignore that raw price, that shouldn't be there. Mimikyu was acquired through a different method from the other 4 cards. Original price was to acquire these sort of mini albums that you can see. So you had a Pikachu mini album and an Eevee mini album where you could put your cards into, and it's cost $4 US. And so that was the only way to get Mimikyu. So that's why their quantities was also a lot less because there weren't as, once you sold out of these mini albums, there weren't any more Mimikyus. And so this is reflected in the price. That's right, a raw sealed Mimikyu card with that mini album is going for around $2,000 to $2,200. And a PSA 10 copy of this card is $3,500 to $4,000, depending on the auction that you get, etc. So pretty crazy numbers, definitely going into rent money atmosphere right now. And PSA 9 copies, I know it's sort of bananas. It's actually cheaper than a raw sealed one at $1,500 to $1,800 because people are still, they think if it's a sealed one, there's a chance that it's going to be a PSA 10 copy. So it's sort of like a gamble to get the raw and sealed card right now. And if you look in the pop report, definitely a lot lower than the other cards. There's only 1,100 graded. There's only 700 in Gem Mint PSA 10, which shows you why there is such a support level for this card at $3,500 to $4,000. I think the most recent transaction I saw was about $3,800, which is $1,000 more than I paid for about 8 months ago. I think I got my copy in December. So this thing has soared. This thing has blasted off, I would say, from Team Rocket. And so I think this is a very cool, iconic card to have. I still need 2 more in PSA 10s, which I think I'll get once I've saved up a bit more because I'm buying some other cards to get them graded for the collection, most notably in the Eevee Heroes set. But yeah, appreciate you guys joining today to listen to the Eevee or the MUNCH collection cards. I hope you had fun and found this entertaining or knowledgeable. Remember, if you're liking this and you're not subscribed, help me out, subscribe, join the Pokemon Casino family, And until the next one, I hope you have fantastic RNG. Bye-bye.